How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. We are back after a week off post Super Bowl, taking a little bit of maybe not well-deserved break, but we took it anyways. Today we are talking rookie profiles, specifically a running back that has become a hot name on Twitter in draft circles. Again, just still Twitter, but Tyler Allgeier and the running back out of BYU. Before we get into his breakdown, when he should get drafted, what is his player comp? What can you expect in fantasy? We need to talk about the Patreon page, guys. Go check out our Patreon, 14P Fantasy. Check that out. Again, patreon.com/14P Fantasy. Over there, you are going to get our Dynasty rankings that are tiered. Again, if you're watching a Tyler Allgeier video, you probably care about tiered rookie rankings. On top of that, when we get to the season, we will have preseason rankings, weekly rankings. And if you pay up for that top tier, $9 for a month or whatever it is, we will also break down one of your dynasty teams, a 10 to 15 minute personalized video talking trades and moves you should make for your specific team. So go and check that out at Patreon, guys. Also, while you're here, subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Twitter, both handles above and below there. All right, so we talked about it. Tyler Allgeier, running back out of BYU, coming in at 5'11", about 220 pounds. Obviously, height, weight, all of that's going to be official here in the next couple of weeks when we get the combine. But until then, this is what we're going with. He is a redshirt junior, and let's just talk about it. What he did in 2021 is unfreaking believable. 1,600 yards, 23 rushing touchdowns. Again, 28 receptions, just under, a yard under. 200 receiving yards. And when you're talking about target share, which is typically a fairly sticky stat, transitioning from college to the NFL, he's looking at 10%. Again, that puts him in the top, 75, 77% of players when they enter the NFL. So he is definitely going to be considered a guy that has 3-down potential. Do I think that ends up being his role in the NFL? Do I think he has that skill set? Not particularly. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about those strengths, those weaknesses. So when you're talking about strengths, if he lands in a team that's going to run a zone scheme, that is best case scenario for him. Obviously, we just saw him have, supreme success at BYU running this type of scheme. So if that's the case, hoping he finds a similar system, he's going to be a match made in heaven. On top of that, the patience, the vision behind the line as far as cutbacks go, all of those are in his favor. Where things get kind of dicey, and this is a little bit confusing because if you just kind of scour the internet, you find different things. His speed, when you watch him on film, he looks, probably close to a 4.5, 4.6. He's not going to blow you away. But all those reports out there right now rumor him to be around a 4.4. Overall, draft metrics don't matter too much unless you score horribly. So I don't think either way it's going to be a detriment or a bonus to Tyler Allgeier, but I don't think he carries that long speed that he may show in the 40 time because, again, you watch him all of this season. He is steady. He is consistent. He does have some breakaway runs, but he's not a blazer. He is not, turning people to dust, basically. I mean, that's just not going to be his play style. Again, but kind of going back to the positives, he is a bruiser. The man at 220 pounds, again, look at him. He's built like a freaking train. He was a linebacker in high school. He punishes guys. So he does have good upside in the red zone, between the 20s, short yardage. And again, he's an average to a slightly above average receiver. So that's where he could, in theory, play a 3-down role in the NFL. Again, I think that's not going to be where he is. I don't think he gets the draft capital that teams are going to be like, all right, screw it. Let's feature Tyler Allgeier. If he ends up on day 2, expect a late 3rd-round pick. At least that's my estimation. And if he gets that, okay, he probably jumps up into the back end of the 1st, early 2nd in super flex drafts, and becomes probably a 1st-round pick in 12-team 1 QB leagues. And that is fine. Again, 3rd-round draft capital is what 3rd round or better, as far as draft capital goes, is what you're looking for. If he slips to day 3 he'll fall down, not necessarily rankings, but not running back rankings, but overall rankings. He'll become a mid-second round pick or, an early second, and that's fine. But if he slips to the 4th, the 5th, anything later, I'm going to start pumping the brakes. Tyler Allgeier is a fun sleeper. Don't get me wrong. He is a guy that, in the right situation with the proper draft capital, could be a very solid running back in the NFL. And I think that's what we're looking for. And now the part most people probably care about the most, let's take a look at his player comp. For us, or for me, he comes in as Rashad Penny. First of all, the build, 5'10", 5'11", stocky as hell. It's identical. I mean, this very well could be Rashad Penny in a Seahawks uniform. And honestly, Rashad Penny punishes runners. He's not a guy that is going to shake you out of your shoes. Solid footwork. He's not shifty. That's fine. And on top of that, he is a decent to above average receiver. And that's exactly who Rashad Penny is. He will punish you. He's not going to juke you, and he'll catch the ball, or he's capable of catching the ball. That's really all you can ask for. The thing is, he's not going to get 4 years to prove it because he's not going to get the pedigree that Rashad Penny got. So that is where things differ greatly, is he's not going to get anywhere near a first-round draft pick. Probably won't be a second rounder either. So pump the brakes. Again, if Tyler Allgeier lands in the 3rd, I'm significantly more intrigued. If he's an early 4th, I'll still be in. Much later than that, it's going to be tough to trust him with early picks in your rookie drafts. But again, keep an eye on him because he will be an important one to watch come the NFL draft. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. A quick breakdown of Tyler Allgeier, where he probably should be drafted in the NFL as well as rookie drafts. If you got questions, comments, anything like that, drop it below. As always, again, check out the Patreon page, subscribe to the YouTube if you like what we're doing here. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.